doctor, attorney,
and now the official injury law firm partner of the Denver Broncos.
Ramos Law. What makes us different makes us better.
Good morning, my friends. It is Wednesday, January 14th. Welcome to Peaks2Plains Weather Mornings with Meister here, and hope you are having a good start to your day. I made a post this morning. I have in the Peaks2Plains Weather mug the Rocky Mountain Roast from American Classic Coffee. They are the official coffee provider of Peaks2Plains Weather. And Spencer, it is his business. He roasts his coffee locally. He is a veteran, does lots of good through his company, and great stuff. This one I am loving this morning. Has some chocolate notes, a little bit of orange in there as well, and is real kind of bright on the palate. Anyway, so whatever you are drinking this morning, whatever you're eating, hope you are having a good day. Before I jump into the forecast, I do want to talk about yesterday when I started the show with how bad the snowpack is across Colorado. I made a social media post about that, and man, that thing blew up yesterday. More than 500,000 people have seen that. And, you know, there was lots of interesting conversation about it. That's one of the things I think is neat about social media. Some people get a little worked up about things, you know, when we're all sitting behind the keyboard, we're just type stuff. But some of the things I saw were interesting. A couple of people made good points that, you know, the SnowTel data, these are automatic sensors that we have up across the high country. You know, that data set goes back to the 70s. And then before that, you have to rely on manual snow reports across Colorado's high country. We certainly measure more places with the SnowTel data, but doesn't, yeah, I mean, you know, goes back, let's see, what, 70s, you know, 50 some years, something like that. But that's a long enough data set to at least make some comparisons that we aren't having a great snow season for sure. And then I saw one person say, in my 65 years, I have never been able to hike up a 14er on my birthday, which was now would have been 2 days ago, without much in the way of snow on the trail. I'm not sure which one he or she did, but didn't say. But that just gives you some perspective. And so, you know, obviously, we are behind on snowpack. Someone got worked up because I didn't say farmers. I did post that it has agricultural impacts. Like I said, some people get worked up. And then a couple of different people started talking about weather modification and cloud seeding. And there's a couple things I'll say about that. You know, there have been, even in Colorado over the years, some of the ski resorts have tried putting silver iodide into the atmosphere, sort of upstream of the ski slopes to produce more snow. And the concept with cloud seeding is you're trying to get molecules into the atmosphere. They have to be a certain shape for water to condense on it or for snowflakes to be made. And so you're just trying to provide a more favorable atmosphere for that process to happen. And in theory, I mean, it sounds like it would work, right? Like, I mean, the cloud physics and how precipitation is made, it makes sense. But what I think in reality is difficult is to get that material to the right part of the cloud at the right time when precipitation is being made. The other, I guess, from a scientific issue is you don't have like a control group, so you don't know how successful it was or wasn't. And for me personally, there are some ethical issues with it. I mean, if you are making more rain or snow, let's say it's working well and efficiently, are you taking precipitation from somebody behind you in the order of things? So I've always kind of thought that that was something that should probably be thought of. You know, that's just me. I know in western Kansas, they've tried some hail suppression cloud seeding things before in the Mid-East. They've tried some cloud seeding to increase rain. So it certainly are things that have happened, but it's one of those things for me that I tend to think that maybe humans aren't as important as we like to think we are. I don't know. Anyways, I don't mean to get anybody worked up this morning. I just thought that I would mention that. Let's do a little bit of weather here. By the way, before I do that, I did post on this. If you would like to be on the show this morning, there are 2 links that are in the text post for the live here. And you can join me and we can talk Peaks2Plains weather, or we can talk whatever you want. We had a cold front move through overnight. And early this morning, there is actually quite a bit of echo out across parts of the eastern plains here. You can see that out across the Palmer Divide, even heading into Cheyenne County toward Kit Carson. I want to show you a little bit wider view here. Did get a shower report from the automated sensor in La Junta. And so, you know, some of this is making it down to the ground. I've been checking the traffic cams here in Lyman. Certainly nothing heavy, and I'm not sure all of that radar echo is making it down to the surface. But notice in Lyman, the wind already is out of the northwest at 17, and so it makes that 34 feel like 23 this morning. I think for a lot of us behind the cold front today, east of the mountains, we'll notice for a lot of areas a temperature drop versus what we had yesterday, and then some of us will notice some wind that continues. Skycast showing over the next couple of hours that, you know, shower chances will decrease. So if you're in a place that has seen that this morning, not that big of a deal. I do have somebody that has joined us here on a call early this morning. Let me turn the audio for that person on and bring them in here early this morning. Good morning, how are you?
Good morning, Matt. Loving the show.
Oh, Jim Martin. I couldn't even recognize you, my man. How are you?
It's an early morning for me. You look good all the time, but I have to struggle with it.
Well, I tell you what, my camera may have a little filter thing on it that makes me look better than I am. Jim is a good friend of mine. He's been trying to get on the show for a few days. Jim, I don't want to say that you've been a little bit technically challenged, but you might have been a little bit technically challenged.
I'm very technically challenged. I'm old and I don't get these things. That's not a generalization. That's just me.
That's just the truth. And Jim has the coolest looking screen on a phone you've ever seen. There's this big, like, pink line that just runs vertically down his... I think we need to get you a new phone, dude.
I do think so.
How are you?
It's 2026, new phone year.
I know, right? Well, how old is your phone, by the way?
It's, 10 XS, so what's that, generation 10? We're on 17, I think, now.
Jim, I'm going to take up a collection for you. Tell me about what you know. You know a lot about the journey behind the scenes here, obviously, since you're a good friend of mine. What are you thinking of Peaks2Plains weather? And you don't need to oversell it or anything. I mean, I want honesty here.
I like being able to log onto the app or the website a couple times a day and see what the changes are to the weather. So particularly during the storms, that's a good feature. Otherwise, I was just kind of trapped with watching you in the mornings and then kind of checking other weather apps and things in the afternoon. So, and I think yesterday you had a live show and then you posted some additional stuff to the live show. I was going to ask you that question.
No, so on the way that it works on social media, I mean, you know, the live show happens and then I stop streaming and it lives on social media, but I don't have any, like, a way to append or anything like that. But I mean, I post other information on social media through the course of the day for sure. So I don't know if that's what you saw or what, but anyways, what are the plans today, Jim?
Oh, hopefully a lot of desk time today. Get some bills paid, get some checks cashed, do all the stuff that I don't enjoy doing, but needs to happen.
Jim is a small business owner, so he has been supportive of me in that endeavor that I have taken on here with Peaks2Plains Weather. Jim, I don't know how long you've been up, but usually you start your day with some quiet time. You get going, like you work out of the house there, and it looks like you've been doing a lot of work back there. I mean, you got stacks of things back behind your right shoulder there how old is some of that stuff back there, Jim?
Some of it's pretty old, so I'm looking on refiling items and cleaning up the stuff. So unfortunately, my middle child's room has now been overtaken with a plastic table and banker's boxes as I'm trying to file things and get it put away.
Well, so it certainly sounds like your to-do list is long, my man, longer than just what you have planned today. Jim, thanks for starting your day with me. I appreciate it. Thanks for supporting me with Peaks2Plains Weather and being such a good friend. I am grateful for you, as you know. All right, man.
Love you, man.
Hey, love you too. Have a good day. All right, let's jump into more of the forecast here. Jim is such a good buddy. He fills me up. We make each other laugh, and I love that about him very much. So yesterday, we were ahead of the cold front, and we had temps in the 50s and 60s along the Front Range, even with some high clouds that at times made it feel kind of chilly. I was out walking the dog, and it was one of those days that can be a little bit deceptive. Didn't feel necessarily as warm as it was out there. And Lamar's been lagging behind, has more snow on the ground than Springfield. And today, behind the cold front, it'll be a little bit different out there, even once we get these showers to come to an end. So I'm forecasting numbers to be in the 40s and 50s today, about a 10-degree drop for a lot of areas compared to what we had yesterday. The mountains don't get the impacts of this front as much. And so we'll be back in the 30s and 40s with a couple exceptions on the valley floor. I think we'll flirt with 50s. For areas over the plains, in a couple spots east of Highway 71, so getting east of the interstate, we'll see some wind through the course of the morning here into the afternoon and probably keep stiff breezes at least going until the sun goes down. So I'm highlighting eaves here, and you can see that the sustained wind speed will be up between 15 and 20 miles per hour. And that's in contrast up against the interstate. The wind should be lighter. I'm highlighting Fountain here, of course, along Fountain Creek. I think we'll actually have a little bit of a southerly breeze here as we hit the late morning into the afternoon behind the cold front. That's not a surprise. A little bit wider view for you. By 10 o'clock, you see the highlighted areas in yellow there out across the eastern plains. 10 to 20 mile per hour sort of sustained breezes out of the north, which is lighter than up against the Front Range. Some of the mountain areas will get some breezes kind of ringing the let's say Park County and South Park later on today. I think we'll get some breezes up against the hills, but a lot of areas won't deal with that. And then as we head into the overnight, we start to get into this transition period as we'll begin to get this front out of here and setting the stage for a warmer day on Thursday as we get some northwest breezes to spread across the area. Some spots, of course, always in Colorado because of our terrain, a little bit more noticeable with that compared to some others. But after being in the 20s to start off for a lot of areas outside of the big mountain valleys where we'll be in the single digits, we will get a warmer day on Thursday back into the 50s and the 60s. I'm going to take a real short break here for my friends. A quick little word from Phil Long Ford Motor City, and then we'll get some social media comments here on this Wednesday.
At Phil Long Ford Motor City, we've been around for 80 years. That's like 560 in dog years. Basically, we're the top dogs of Colorado. And thanks to our dealers, selection, and service, we've earned some pretty loyal customers. And our GM, Mark, he's the most loyal guy I know. Even after I chewed up his shoe, it was delicious.
Great trucks, amazing deals, and belly rubs for dogs. Come see why Colorado drives Phil Long Ford Motor City. Hey guys, where's my shoe?
Alrighty, a couple of comments from folks here this morning. Let me go back to, there's Jim's shot. I misplaced that, sorry about that. Okay, here we go. I am going to bring in our shot here. Ooh, and it looks like I'm having a vmix issue here early this morning. Let's do this, there we go. Okay, a couple folks checking in here. Corin saying hello from southeastern Colorado. Oh, it looks like I made a mistake there. So let's do this. Sometimes my buttons are a little bit overwhelming. And now let's send, you know what, that's not going to work because I made a mistake, so I've got to work on that. Okay, me still working out some issues here early this morning. In fact, you know what, I want to share your comments, so let me redo how I did this here. I am going to go to the social message, and I'm going to try that again. We'll bring that back in. Some of this you got to work through it with me to make it, you know, make sense here. Okay, and now we'll try it one more time. Here we go. Let's see if we can make that work. There we go. Corin says good morning from southeastern Colorado. Susan says good morning from Fountain. We were highlighting her earlier this morning. I appreciate you starting your day with me. Maria says from Yoder she is joining us this morning. We've got Kelly checking in from Rush. So we're all over the place. Kathy is in Canyon City early this morning. Chuck checking in as well. Thanks for the forecast. Got to run. He is out. And this is one of the things that I love about this is being able to get real-time interaction with you guys. And Angie says, good morning. Angie, good morning to you as well. Let's do a little bit of a long-term forecast here because we have some changes that are on the way as we head into the weekend. And so I am going to widen out our view. I'm going to head over to the weather wall. And then if somebody wants to pop in, I'll visit with you here after I do this extended forecast. Because I've been talking about this for the last, 3-4 days now, certainly over the weekend, this big trough that develops over the eastern United States. And I'm putting the energy and the atmosphere on here because we have several waves that are kind of rotating around the backside of this big trough here into the weekend. And the second one is a little bit closer to home as we continue to carve this thing out with some real cold air across the eastern United States. So we've been sideswiped today. We get that cold air off to the east for tomorrow. You probably noticed that the pink here on the map that was representing the coldest of the air was off to the east. Well, as that next wave comes south out of Canada, the heart of the colder air is a lot closer to us. And so that means that our temperature drop is going to be more noticeable. And as we move from Friday into Saturday, it makes our forecast around here a little bit interesting because you see how the pink starts to slide out of eastern Colorado on Saturday? Well, we have a small scale wind feature that sometimes these big hemispheric and global computer models can't sort of see because the western edge of these cold air masses this time of year can sometimes be really shallow. And because of the terrain changes, the elevation differences that we have over southern Colorado, we can get some interesting things. So sometimes the air is only, a couple feet deep, or not couple feet. Come on, Meister, a couple 100 feet deep. Sometimes it's maybe 1,000 feet deep, a couple thousand feet deep. And so you can get areas that are back over the mountains or up against the hills or even into the higher terrain of some of the cities where we're out of these cold air masses, and some of us in the low spots east of the mountains are in them. So I do think we'll get a push of this cold air Friday into the back part of the day on Friday up against the hills here, but there may be some areas like Woodland Park that are still above it. And so it's one of those situations. Maybe Woodland Park ends up a little bit warmer than Colorado Springs on Friday or Saturday. And then on Saturday, as the large scale pattern that I showed you wants to pull this cold air east of Colorado, we get the mountain plains circulation. There's a small scale circulation. It's kind of like a sea breeze if you are moving here from the coast or anything like that, where because of the terrain differences, we get these small scale wind patterns. At night, the breezes want to come off of the hills, and then in about the middle part of the morning, we get that to switch around and the wind wants to flow from the plains up the slopes to the mountains, unless there's some large scale thing kind of counteracting that and driving the pressure more significantly. But it's possible on Saturday that some of our low areas are still in this air mass, while some of the higher terrain spots across the Pikes Peak region, maybe even Canyon City to Pueblo, where there are some noticeable differences across the area. And I'm still showing that in my forecast that I have there in the app. I am cooler on Saturday east of the mountains than what a lot of computer models are showing. And I said this when I was posting some long-term stuff yesterday that I think for some areas, if you end up warmer than what I'm showing, I doubt you'll be upset by that. But I've learned over the years to play the colder side of things, since that's a possibility. Because if I'm telling you it's 50 and we end up, 33, you're going to be upset about that. So I do think we're going to be chillier here. Then we'll get warmer as we head into next week. There's another little wave on Monday that is a little bit interesting. Dropping the temperatures for now. Might need to end up putting a chance of some showers in the forecast and maybe dropping those numbers a little bit lower than that. So that's something that we'll watch here over the next few days. Check this out. We've got, let's see, Jamie all the way from Pagosa Springs checking in this morning saying, what's good? I'll tell you what's good is my American Classics coffee. Jennifer saying good morning from Security. Thanks, Jennifer. And she also asked, will I be adding a Meister of some sort? So I've had a couple things here through the course of my career where it's the same concept, it's a scale, and I try to boil everything down to will it be nice or not? And the higher the number, the nicer it is. And I am working on that. It takes time to do, but I do want to do that, and I am working on some mic moisture action as well. So that is something that I will keep working on and probably have for you next week, I think. Anyways, so I'm going to wrap it up here this morning. I hope you have a fantastic day. I'll be posting some Peaks2Plains weather stuff through the course of the day. One thing before I go, I had some new supporters of Peaks2Plains weather come on board yesterday. Bird Dog Barbecue. Delicious. I love Bird Dog Barbecue. Empire Roofing came on and joined us yesterday. Twin Hounds Biscuit Company. They make delicious treats for your four-legged friends of the canine variety. And I had an idea from someone, and I'm going to do this. Somewhere on the website, I am going to build a page where all of the partners that I have and all of the supporters, the advertisers of Peaks2Plains Weather, I'm going to put them on there. And so when you are making decisions from a consumer perspective, you can maybe make some decisions to help support Peaks2Plains Weather. The other thing that I wanted to make you aware of on the website here early this morning is that there is some merch. You can rep the Peaks2Plains drop when you are out across town. This helps me keep the lights on a little bit. There's some good stuff in there. I am wearing a shirt that I had made here early this morning. Advanced Impressions is a local company that I am using to make my merchandise. They're on the east side of Colorado Springs. They can host pages like you see on the Peaks2Plains website that are kind of made for you, for maybe a sports team, maybe you're a company. They do a lot of stuff with the military, specifically I know at Fort Carson and on some of the Space Force bases for some of the groups where they'll make some merch for them. And they're great guys, Tom and the crew, they're just fantastic over there. I've enjoyed working with them. I've got my Peaks2Plains shirt on this morning. So a couple more things here. Let's see if somebody else has chimed in on the social media. We'll give people a little bit of a shout out this morning. Ricky checking in and saying, Matt Meister, you are the best. I don't know about that, Ricky, but I appreciate it. Janine saying thanks for the update. You're very, very welcome. Again, I hope you all have a fantastic day. SoCo checking in and saying thanks for all the hard work. Well, thanks for checking in. I appreciate it. And Melissa saying good morning from Black Forest. Good morning to you, Scrugg family. Appreciate all of you. Have a good day, crew. I'll see you tomorrow morning live, Monday through Friday, 6:30. It's Mornings with Meister. Have a good day.